Welcome, my name is Matt, aka Roger88. We're getting into Star Wars, Gods of Heroes. Geo Territory Battle, Geonosis, a Republic Offensive. My apologies coming out late with this. This whole week's been one thing after another. But I'm trying to catch this before it ends. If there's anything we might be able to capture, with what's left of our territory battle, all the better. I mean, whatever is possible. Um, so we're, it looks like we're entering into phase 4. Yep, phase 4. We have 1 day and 4 hours left, so that puts us at day 5 for this territory battle. So, kind of looking at this map here, we have progressed. There's a lot more grounds to cover in Petronaki Arena. If we were to ever see canyons in comparison to what's left in Battlegrounds, if we want to see Separatist Command before the territory battle is over. We could probably see ourselves at the end of the territory battle, hopefully able to see these territories, maybe, if not, at least these. If we pushed on the fleet, if we pushed on what's left of Battlegrounds, again, Petronaki Arena has a lot to push for. We have about 1 day, 4 hours left. So, I mean, it's a bit of a stretch, a bit of a push. This is Geonosis. This is a harder difficulty mode. Republic Offensive has felt like deadly difficulty mode, with a high level of expectations on their requirements as well as the battles. So, an example was what my guild is looking at. If it was me, I would almost suggest putting focus on Battleground, at least until we see the first star victory, guaranteeing our ability to move over into the next territory. Once we have that, I would almost suggest, since there's less grounds to cover in Petronaki Arena. Okay, I think my game's got a lag. It's not moving. There we go. There's 132 million power needing over in. I'm just gonna call it that power. Needing over in Separatist Command to promote to advance. Compared to Petronaki Arena, that's needing 110 million. So actually, yeah, I would suggest pushing Petronaki Arena after pushing Battlegrounds first star victory. That way we can at least, hopefully, maybe see these territories by the end of territory battle. It would require a great deal of push. We probably don't stand a chance in being able to see this territory by the end of it. I kind of doubt it. But I do see 3 territories. I feel like if the guild pushed in certain areas, first over on the Battlegrounds and then Petronaki territory and the fleet, it should allow us to move forward, to advance. Whoop. 1, 2, 2, and then of course fleet, kind of self-explanatory. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. So let's see what it is I can contribute today. And again, I'm a little tardy to the party. My apologies. This whole week, it's like just one of those weeks. There's one thing after another. So the best I can do here, unless I have any ships I can dispatch into the fleet. Nope. So I'll just do a deployment of all my ships. That's the best I can do. And there's quite a bit to add into that. Let's see where I stand on battles. Don't quite have all the units necessary for that one. As I mentioned, I kind of feel like if we pushed on Battleground first, until we get that first star victory, we ought to be able to see ourselves able to advance to the next phase. We have a whole nother day, depending on the strength of the guild. And that is a real question. Given the requirement expectations for this particular territory battle, yeah. Well, there's one battle I can't do. There's one battle I got a pretty good hand on. But we've also seen how my battles have been in the last few battles. One thing I question is maybe whether I should just focus on platoon and deployment instead of wasting troops on it in battles that so far have proven almost a guaranteed loss. I'll go ahead and deploy a loot to that one. But at least with him, it's a guarantee he's actually contributing something. Whereas if I threw him in a battle, like we saw in my last one from the last phase, he wasn't able to contribute hardly anything. So, let's see who all I've got I can contribute. Come on. Gotta love those lags. I mean, I could focus on battles, but we've seen how my last feud went, and at least with this, I know my characters are not going to waste. It's not to say I probably still shouldn't consider doing a battle, but I gotta weigh the difference too. I probably stand a better chance up in this one. Trying to formulate a squad where everyone's following the leader. That always helps. But I can't just get all excited just because I see someone with a higher gear, get relic amplifier, because that doesn't always mean anything. I mean, sometimes, you would think it would, but the chemistry formula for a squad a lot of times does end up making a difference. So I'm trying to weigh my difference. And Cool's a good character, but is he good in the squad? Able to follow Ben with what he contributes in his ability. I'm probably taking a chance with this one. Yeah, that other battle I couldn't even do anyways. Excuse me. So I'll give this a chance. No guarantee of anything. Yeah, no. And see, this is why I didn't want to just throw anyone into battle before doing the platoon, because at least with the platoon, I can guarantee those characters weren't being put to waste. I was hoping Ahsoka would follow Rex. That doesn't seem to be the case. Not this Ahsoka, at least. It seems like the Phoenix Squad coincides better with Rex, at least this particular Rex. Yeah, this is what I was afraid of. And I do question if me attempting any of the other battles is even going to be worth it. Because at that point, I'm probably just trashing my characters. Whereas opposed to doing that, I could just guarantee they're being put to use instead of just trashing them. And I think at this point in the territory battle, as much as I hate having to do this, it kind of doesn't look like I have a whole lot of choice, because if I did, that last battle did not go well. And Petronaki Arena is one territory place advanced from where we are with Canyon on the Southern Territory aspect of it. So that's only going to get even harder. I can't even handle Petronaki battle. I couldn't even handle the battles in the territory before Petronaki territory. So what point is it that would just waste my characters in a battle that I know at this point I can just bet, I can almost guarantee without having to step foot in it, I'm not going to stand a chance. Those are characters that could be actually filling up a space in deployment as opposed to just being trashed. Or in the platoon, So, when it comes to the battles at this point in the territory battle, for this particular territory battle, Geonosis, the Republicans, they're going to have to really, trying to get out of my thoughts, I'm just waking up. Players with probably maxed up characters, they're probably going to be the ones that stand a better chance in the battles than anyone else that still trying to power up their characters. And from what I've seen in respect to my guild, those members largely are going to be like the leader, the officers, and some of the members who have been in the game much longer. Whereas, like, for me, I've only been in for a few months, and I know there's other members who have just barely shown up. there's only so much we have to contribute in this particular territory battle, and it's not for a, it's not without a lack of trying. I mean, we're still here, we're still trying, but there's only so much that we have, in our power, our character power, our player powers, that we're able to contribute. So, for those of us that's kind of like in my situation, if you weigh the difference, weigh the pros and cons. If you know at this point you don't really stand a chance in a battle, don't just trash your characters. You can still deploy them. If you have, still, high-powered characters, good for a platoon, slot them in a platoon before you deploy. And at this point, I would leave the battles. Not trying to neglect or not be useful, but just because we literally cannot get anywhere. We can't cover any ground in those battles. And we don't want to just trash our characters when they could be put to use in helping advance the territories. I would leave those battles for the players. I mean, we're going to have to. We don't really have much of a choice. To the players whose characters are more maxed up than ours. So to those players whose characters are maxed up, my apologies, I can't pitch in with y'all. If I could, I would. But you saw my last couple battles. I got my butt handed to me. So, yep, that's going to have to be Geonosis, Republic Offensive. I believe day 5 for phase 4. And as I suggested, I would make fleet and I just went blank on which one that was. Battlegrounds. Fleet and Battlegrounds. Focus number 1. And Petronaki, focus number 2. That would be my recommendation for my guild in the case of my guild scenario for this. As far as for anyone else in other guilds, again, it's in a territory battle like this, depending on the types of players and their power positions in your guild, where you're positioned at in your territory battle, there is a lot of weighing in pros and cons of what to do. Kind of identifying which players in your guild are going to be able to contribute at which spots, because this particular territory battle, I swear, has got to be like deadly difficulty mode, which is a thing in event challenges. So, or certain events that pop up, that is a difficulty mode that pops up every so often. I swear that's what this feels like. So that'll be Geonosis Republic Offensive, Day 5, Phase 4, for Guild Territory Battles, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Subscribe to the channel, like the videos, comments, questions, suggestions down below, and thank you for following. May the Force be with you.